What's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to the After Action Report, Criminal Syndicate versus Defenders. And guys, if you're a Defenders player, I am so sorry for what I just did to Troop here.
Let's be very clear, folks at home. This is not what a Defenders Army simulation works like. He's actually in his lawyer gear, obviously, and they beat up a bunch of nerds.
I have some concerns about my dice tonight because they should not have rolled the way they did, and I think I was averaging like 3 crits on most of my rolls there, which is just obscene.
There was some very, very ridiculous rolls, and while I had some okay defense rolls, I was pretty impressed by my day-to-day rolls. Not your peaks, not at all.
Unfortunately, like my peaks were coming through when you were just kind of okay with your rolls.
Credit where credit is due. You had a fantastic opening set of moves that, like, it was going to be a tough game for me regardless, but your dice definitely sealed the deal on that one. So,
well, I kind of feel like Defenders were in a position where theoretically they should have like turned 2 on.
Yeah,
they're in a position to really start getting scrappy, and unfortunately, like the scrappy just never happened. Like taking out Luke Cage just the way Shadowland Daredevil did, and then taking out everyone else.
The hand ninjas doing, I think they had like a 6 damage attack into one of my guys. I'm like, what? Like,
no, because what it was I did Shadowland into Luke Cage twice.
Yes, that's what it was.
But what got the extra little damage was I summoned in the hand ninjas, and they punched through an extra little bit of damage into you as well.
I think they ended up doing 2 to him to daze him the first time.
And it was because I think I just walked away after that.
Yeah,
I think is what I did, and that was kind of the story of the game. Like my dice were just friggin' fire, and unfortunately, it's one of those things where even if I was making bad decisions, my dice were just like, nah, fam, we got you.
This okay.
Because, I think Gwenpool wasn't amazingly impressive, but she had a good attack off there.
Well, and the fact that she could gutter space and then do her range 3 attack, it was just really solid. And the fact that she wasn't paying to do a lot of other things, that was excellent for her, right?
Yeah, and just the fact that I went into round 3 with all the power so I could do all according to plan, which just really cemented things for me.
Now, my dream opening, by the way, everyone at home, was Matt comes over here, baton hooks, pulls him here, and then I actually get to beat up 2-hammer Shadowland Daredevil with Luke Cage. Sounds like a great thing. Didn't roll a single hit in my roll.
Yeah, no, and that was rough. Like you weren't getting your triggers off either.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, here's the thing: I was not expecting to take out Bishop as quickly as I did.
Nope.
I wasn't expecting to take out Luke Cage as quickly as I did.
Yep.
And even Iron Fist, I wasn't expecting. And that was just kind of what happened. Like the dice just, oh my goodness.
Well, and the fact that Vulture took, I forget how much damage he took from Bullseye, and I was like, what? And between Bullseye and Gwenpool, he had like triple conditions and whatnot. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, like this was one of those games where just everything just kind of compounded and stacked upon each other and just created a really rough situation for you. And you weren't even really able to capitalize on your leadership all that well. You weren't really able to capitalize on a lot of your abilities. I do think you had a heroes for hire that you maybe held on to for a bit too long.
Yeah, I had 2 chances where I chose not to do it, like actively, and apparently it didn't matter.
Yeah, because even just being able to displace somebody and throw them away, but it was one of those things where how are you supposed to know that it would end up being that rough?
Yeah,
because like a lot of my initial attacks were like, okay, that's an initial attack, and then the follow up was just like, and you're done, right? Like
yeah.
So this is a really hard one to measure because I don't necessarily think that this was a strong showing from Criminal Syndicate by virtue of it being Criminal Syndicate. I think this was just a strong showing based on the dice.
Fair, yeah.
And I can't escape that one. Like, I generally don't like to try and reduce a game down to, well, dice good, dice bad. But I think in this particular instance, you were playing against, you were playing against the dice. And I mean, even off camera, I kept saying, it's like, well, I could do this, but I don't want to just keep grinding it in and twisting that knife. And you're like, no, man, like, do it.
Yeah, let's see them do it, because we don't get Criminal Syndicate on the channel as often as I wish, and
Mr. Fisk especially.
Yeah,
exactly. We don't get him on here very often. And even he had a decent showing. Like, he tanked a lot of damage. He headbutt a lot of guys. And
I wish my Fisks had been as resilient as yours. And, like, honestly, though, like, he was in headbutt range multiple times, and
well, because you had to, right?
Yeah.
Like you had to be in that position, and unfortunately, like normally you don't expect much from Fisk damage wise. Like normally he just sits on things and hangs out, but his headbutt showed up.
Yep,
Everything showed up.
It was pretty effective, and honestly, I don't think any of your characters really did a poor job. So,
and being able to use illicit network to just spread some hammers around.
Oh yes,
because I had 2 hammers on Shadowland, and I'm like, all right, he's done, so he's just gonna pass one over to Kingpin now. So Kingpin all of a sudden is rolling 6 dice headbutts, and
looks a lot better when he does.
Yeah. He's taping a hammer to his forehead, and then he's headbutting in.
Yeah.
It's something right out of Looney Tunes here. But yeah, no, this was a rough one. Honestly, I don't know if there's really much we can discuss here. What was your overall? Okay, I'm curious about Bishop in this team.
So I love Bishop's ability to absorb energy and pass it out to others via R&D. And the original plan was to have Bishop kind of grinding against Shocker and Gwenpool. I felt like those were excellent fights for him to collect up a pile of energy and then give it to other people. But he goes down really quick to a lot of things. When he's within range 3, gives out Incinerate, which is good for my little.
But you never really had that
guys.
opportunity.
Yeah, no. The times that I would have done it. Actually, I think Bishop got dropped in round 3 early and round 4 early. And
I think Bishop had 2 attacks total.
Yeah,
and that was.
And they're both at range 4. Yeah.
And unfortunately, once Bishop had a whole bunch of power, it's like, well, I know what Bishop can do with return to sender, and
so return in favor.
So that's not that.
With interest.
Return with interest. Yeah. So it's like that's not something I wanted to deal with here, and the dice just kind of agree with me. And I'm glad you got the Iron Fist attack off. And that was a good one.
It was. It was an effective thing. The Daredevil rerolls mattered. That was cool.
I think the irony though was like not taking Bullseye out.
Yeah.
With the follow up attack, right? And that was again the problem. Like it just attacks that should have been sure things almost.
Yeah. I felt like a lot of my weaker attacks that I was like, oh, I'll get a power off of this. Nope. Getting excited about I'll baton hook. Bullseye and pull him in and get the power I need to do Devil's Deliverance. No, it doesn't give power.
Yeah, because that extra die from Baton,
it doesn't need it. It just I imagine that is the kind of thing that I would get from it, and no, it definitely doesn't.
No, it was rough, and like the game just kind of conspired against you being able to get that full thing through. Hopefully, this doesn't sour you on Defenders.
No. I thoroughly enjoy them, and I was looking forward to using Vulture to pull people into my little clusters of fights, but did not yield that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I mean, putting as many resources into Bullseye as you did is... I know what that's like because I've done it before, but...
The worst thing is like, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get Bullseye with this. Nope. All right. Nope. I'll get Bullseye with this.
And how many attacks was that the case? Yeah, I think 3 or 4 attacks. That's just insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there we go, guys. That was definitely a story of dicing. I liked your plan. I wish we could have seen more of it in action there.
Fair.
But maybe we'll get another opportunity down the road. Leave your comments below. Get involved in the discussion, and we will see you guys next time. Happy wargaming.